We want to retain as much of the familiarity. What's the word? Familiarity. We want to keep it the same. It's got air conditioning. It's got AC, so we want to keep that. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And today I've got a very exciting video for you, and for me, and for all of us involved. Now, today is going to be our first episode of showing you guys how we're going to be building a BMW engine to Defender 90. Now, how exciting is that? Super cool project, and I'm really excited to get stuck into this one. A bit about the car. I bought this vehicle about 6 or 7 months ago, and then we've just been doing bits here and there, just in workshop time, because it was initially a vehicle for me to use. And then I thought, actually, I do want to do a BMW engine and show you guys how it's done and show you how we do it, and basically building a 300 brake horsepower monster Defender 90. So this one's going to be a lot of fun. It's basically what we've done to it. We've given it it was as is, except I put some sawtooths on it, gave it the black pack that you see here, some LEDs, and updated the seats and put a double din in it. Just the usual stuff that we always do. And now that we've got it to this nice base spec, it's a beautiful car. It's got 113,000 miles on it, and it's a 2007. So it's a first of the 2.4 Pumas. It's an excellent base car, the chassis and everything. That's why I purchased it, and it's a really, really nice car. Underneath, it's beautiful. So there's nothing wrong with the engine. It runs fine. It's actually a really sweet engine, and just everything about it. There's no leaks underneath. It's a really beautiful car. So that's exactly why I purchased it. That crow is kicking off, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, it literally runs and drives. It's been stuffed under the mezzanine for quite a few months now, and I think it deserves a wash before we go ahead and get stuck in and basically pull the heart out of this. So the engine is for sale, by the way. We'll show you it running. It's in great order. It's got 113k on it. There's no real problem with it, and it's just one of those sweethearts. It starts up, no problems with it. We're going to be mounting it onto the original gearbox, a 6-speed to retain the inside Land Rover appeal. I know that you can fit the BMW automatic gearbox, but to be honest, I quite like the manual in a Defender. And this one is kind of a bit of we've lowered it 1 inch, and it's got the agricultural tyres on it. I kind of want to retain that Defender feel and that kind of utilitarian look to it. So I want to retain the 6-speed manual, and we've got a conversion kit arriving any moment now, with our engine, pallet, everything ready to just throw into this thing and make this thing that monster that we need to get it to. So let's have a look at the car. Okay guys, so we went ahead and got the vehicle washed. It's looking amazing, it's come up really nice. Again, like I said, this vehicle was just a nice, straight and honest vehicle. I think it looks really great. Like I said, we lowered it and we also fitted Coney shocks to it. So this one is going to be a bit of a performance one. And I think a straight six engine is going to really see this vehicle just over the finish line and just get this thing, it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, that's the only thing these things lack is, obviously, as you guys know, we do a lot of the performance, and I think the next jump for us to do is show you guys an engine swap. So it's clean, ready, we're going to put it in bay 3. We've just spent the afternoon just tidying the shop, and we'll start pulling the engine out. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Grab a drink and we'll start pulling this engine. So guys, before we go ahead and rip this engine out, we've actually just had a massive delivery from Wiseman Engineering Limited. Now they've delivered us the engine, a full crate, a pallet of everything we need to complete this job. So let's come and take a look. So guys, this is our M57 3-litre 6-pod engine, 6-cylinder engine, and it's come out of an E46. And they were fitted to a variety of engines, including a BMW X5, and great engine, really refined, loads of power, bags of torque. And it's a perfect engine for what we're chucking in here. Now this looks like a really nice engine. It's a pretty low mileage engine at around 100,000 miles. And it looks really neat and tidy. Now Max has already done a few items for us, which is really nice. Done the EGR delete, done a few bits and bobs and given us a service kit. Looking at the engine, he's also made the mounts up that bolt straight into the Land Rover mounts. We can do no modifications to this in terms of, you know, we've got to cut and weld the chassis mounts, anything like that. Engine itself looks really clean and dry. It looks like a really nice engine, and he's assured me it's a great runner. Leon's just unboxing some of the other items. We'll go over there and have a look. So guys, Leon is unboxing a few items here already, and it looks relatively straightforward to do this conversion. We've got a turbo pipe, which is our crossover pipe for the exhaust, which mounts up to the original Land Rover system. We've got an ECU here, which has been modified with a custom map. The immobiliser has been removed from the BMW ECU. It's been selected into a manual because this was from an automatic, this engine. We've got power steering pipe. We've got AC pipes, because this is going to retain aircon for this Land Rover. Custom intercooler pipes, custom clutch and dual mass flywheel, some serviceable items.
A load of coolant pipes.
A load of coolant pipes, inline fuel filter and a fuel pump. A really fancy harness kit, which is from Martin at Futuranet, and that'll basically speak to the original Ford CAN bus unit, which is on the Land Rover dash. So we should be able to retain the engine temperature, coolant temperature, revs, speed, all that kind of stuff. It will speak to the engine, and we shouldn't have any warning lights on. It will use the BMW ECU, and we're going to try and mount that in the original Land Rover position. We're going to try and make this installation as OEM as possible. And to be fair, this looks pretty straightforward, but I think we're going to be surprised about how many brackets and little things we have to be making to make this kit look really nice and neat and make it look like it's an OEM installation. What's in this box here? We've got a random box here of other bits and odds and sods.
Let's cut the mounts.
Cut the mounts.
Slave cylinder.
Modified slave cylinder.
Yeah, modified. On the back there. We've got engine mounts.
Engine mounts.
Starter motor cover. Before we cut the hole out for the new starter.
Gearbox.
For the new starter. That's all serviceable stuff.
And then we've just got a fast road intercooler arriving as well, so this thing can actually, you know, when we actually start demanding some performance out of this thing, it can cope with it. Now, one question that I think most people are going to have is the Land Rover transmission, axles, diffs, transfer box and gearbox going to be up to the job to support this BMW conversion? Now, if you look earlier on my channel, you'll see a 580 brake horsepower LS3, which is bolted up to the standard transfer box, the standard front and rear differential, with no heavy-duty CVs, flanges, half shafts, etc. And it's been running for over a couple of years, I think, in that condition. No problems to date. These things are heavily over-engineered as it is, and as much as I'm a kind of, you know, let's just do everything, let's fit all the HD CVs, HD shafts, HD transfer box, all of this, at this point I'd like to think it's actually unnecessary. And all of that stuff can be added at a later date if it is to ever go bang. You know, if the transfer box centre diff, which is probably most likely, is deciding to make a whining noise or is starting to fail, we can replace that at a later date. It doesn't have to be all done at the same time. And don't forget, we're not just going to be sending 300 brake and bags of torque through this gearbox and through this transmission and through the axles at one immediate time. This thing's going to be rolling along, you know, and you're just going to be, as long as you're cruising with a bit of restraint, I suppose, and you're not being stupid. You know, if you're bouncing off the limiter and you dump the clutch,
you're going to break stuff.
You're going to break stuff in on the land, on the standard stuff anyway. So we're going to basically just install this as is onto the original Land Rover stuff. Of course, when it's in the air, we know this vehicle anyway. If there are any items that require doing, like the rear half shafts and stuff like that, if it needs doing, of course we're going to do that. We're not going to leave anything that doesn't need doing. It will have a new clutch, dual mass flywheel. We're going to be using the original radiator, which is perfectly sufficient, and then we're going to just upgrade the intercooler. It will have a different air filter in it, obviously because it's a BMW engine. And it should even be able to retain the standard exhaust. There shouldn't be any breathing capability problems or anything like that. But we might just have a bit of fun with the exhaust just to get some noise out of it. Literally, we throw this engine in and away we go. But the first thing we're going to do is pull this engine out. Okay guys, so what you've just seen us do is we have completely stripped the engine ready of the loom. We've got rid of all the coolant hoses, got rid of the radiator, the intercooler, we've got the exhaust off, got it split down here. We've also got the bell housing bolts undone. We've got the starter motor sort of dropped off a little bit. We've got all the kind of fuel hoses out the way, the clutch slave is out the way, and we think we're ready to just go ahead and start pulling it, don't we?
I think we're ready.
We think we're ready, so we're gonna basically just bring it down now, get the crane over, hold the engine's weight, sort of separate it a little bit, and see what we've left. There's probably a few connections left, and we started to get this engine out, and it was under 2.5 hours, which is pretty crazy. So let's keep moving. Yo. Right, 18 pipes here. That leads to 6, So that was pretty easy, and we did that in definitely under 3 hours, which I think was, I mean, we've done this before, so that obviously helps. But that was pretty straightforward. I hope the rest of the conversion goes as easy as that. Yeah, I think we're going to be spending a bit of time just cleaning up the engine bay, putting over the engine mounts, having a look in general, and just seeing what we've got left of the Land Rover loom, ready for us to tidy up and snip back, because the last thing we want is a load of just empty loom and loads of plugs everywhere. So, going to have a good look over the bay here, see what we need to trim back, see where we can mount certain things, and just generally just get an idea of what is going to be involved for the next stage of this project. Inbox once this is out. Yeah. Those ones that come off on the chassis there, you've got a look at those, haven't you?
Yes.
It'd be nice to be able to pressure wash this really, wouldn't it?
I was thinking
clean the whole bag. Well, what wire have we got left? We've got that, I can secure, right?
So,
This is incredible. There's nothing else that we sit behind. We've got a few leftover steering pipes and fuel line pipes, which we're going to change. So this actually looks like it's going to be dare I say, straightforward again. We were quite concerned that there'd be a lot of the Land Rover loom left over, but it appears that literally our loom here is just going to plug straight into the old body loom, and we're going to have one plug straight direct again to this conversion box, I would say, I guess you call it, and then from that we're going to go to the BMW. But we can route and move all this as much as possible. We just didn't want to have a load of the excess Land Rover stuff, although we may have that on the BMW engine when we do plumb it in, because that was an automatic. So we might have to cut it all back and get rid of it, because we want this thing to look like an OEM installation. We don't want a load of plugs hanging around. I go straight. Yeah, go on.
it's not going to fit. Ah, yes.
Excellent.
There we go.
So we've got to pop this in the post over to Well 4x4. They're going to chop off the Land Rover compressor fitting and then TIG weld, I believe. I think it's TIG weld on the BMW fitting so that we can bolt it to the BMW air compressor. So this vehicle is going to retain AC, which is really nice. We want to retain as much of the familiarity. What's the word? Familiarity. We want to keep it the same. It's got air conditioning. It's got AC, so we want to keep that and keep it as original as possible. So we can chuck this in the post. Max will then weld it on and send it back, and we can then continue with the installation. But it's gone pretty well, right? We've done this really quickly and properly as well. This hasn't just been a smash and grab job. We've done everything as good as to our ability, and it's come up pretty easily, pretty smooth so far. Everything's gone to plan, and yeah, we could rock the boat from here though. It depends how we can piece this together and how well we can work it out. I am slightly concerned we've got to cut a chunk out of the gearbox to make way for the new starter motor. But it's one of those things. Once it's done, and there's a little blanking plate to cover what we've done. So hopefully we can get that done sorted. And yeah, great progress so far. So guys, I think we're gonna wrap up the video here. Obviously we've introduced you to the build. I hope you guys are gonna be really excited about this. We certainly are. We showed you a little bit about what we're doing. We've even pulled the engine and given this thing a wash. So all that's left for us to do is install the other one. But you guys are gonna have to wait for the next video. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to drop your comments and thoughts down below. And don't forget to give us a follow on Instagram, which is @JuiceMotors. And we'll see you guys next time.